Hi, everyone. I am here to try out a new social media posting app that I had an opportunity to possibly partner with. So I haven't even looked at it at all beyond just the main page here. So we're going to go look at this together. This is claiming that AI is going to do the marketing for me by helping me create quality blog posts, videos, and social media posts, I'm assuming here, or if it's mostly for my website. It's the messaging here. It looks like social media, right? And has a lot of features. I like their website. It's pretty cool. So I'm intrigued by it. And I wanted to bring you guys along with me to check it out. Now, I do have a partner link that if you want to check it out, because they do have a free trial to try it. So if you want to try it along with me, go ahead and click through that partner link. But I am not endorsing them at all until I kind of go through and just see the base features. I can usually tell right away if something's going to work for me or not. It usually within the first like 5 to 10 minutes of testing out an app and seeing the features that are available to me. And then, of course, looking at the price points. So we'll be digging into those things and I'm going to give my initial opinions. And I'm doing this because I am actively looking for a solution for posting to multiple platforms for myself and then also possibly doing that for others. AI's kind of enabled me to do a lot more things quickly. And so I'm thinking of possibly doing some more social media marketing for some of my clients. And at least if I'm not the one to do it, I can have some tools in my toolbox to recommend to them or possibly train them on to do it themselves, right? So let's get into this. Blaze.ai is the company. Again, I don't know much about it, and we're going to be testing that for the first time. So if you want to do it along with me, go ahead and click through that link in below this video, wherever you are watching it. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the get started for free. And I'm going to just move this over here. So I'm looking at you guys, and we're going to walk through this process together. So here we're given a free 7-day trial. That's pretty cool. I'm impressed with having any kind of a trial these days. I know what's involved as far as AI and how much it costs for the features and such. So it's nice to see that. And I'm going to just go ahead and continue with email here. I'm going to hide my screen for a second so that you don't see what I enter in here, but I'm just going to go ahead and put in my email address and create a password. So it asked to verify my email. They sent a code to my inbox. It's already arrived. Doing this in real time with you guys. And it's asking for my name and a password. So I'm going to go ahead and enter that in. Okay. And just checking it. There we go. And that's creating my account. And now I'm going to go ahead and share the screen with you again, guys, so you can see what I have. So all I've done is just set up the account and created with my email address and a password. Okay. So now we have a little bit of onboarding here. We'd love to get more acquainted. So let's see. Describe your business. Let's see. Creator, possibly. Freelancer is probably a better fit for what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and click freelancer. Why? Let's see. I want to make it easier to create and plan and post my content. So I think that's probably the best selection for that. I mean, really, it is to save time. So I'm not sure that's not available as a reason. So that's a little concerning because I do want to save time. I hope it does. How big is your company? Just me. And how did you hear about this? So if you want to enter in something, you could put from a friend or pick any platform here that you saw this at. And I'm going to just say other because they contact me directly. Okay, so here they're asking for a credit card to start my free trial. And that's a big turnoff. That is a huge turnoff. And here they're assuring me they'll send me a reminder 2 days before the trial ends, which is nice. And they have the dates here that will happen. So typically when I do start a free trial and I'm required to enter in my payment info, I will add alerts to my calendar to when I need to cancel those subscriptions so I don't accidentally get charged. So I will, for the sake of this video, I will sign up for this. Personally, I probably would just blow by this and go with someone else because there's so many other apps that kind of do this function that don't require me to do this. So this is really a big hurdle for me mentally to get by. There's definitely apps where I don't mind doing this, but that's because they're so specialized. There's no other options. And if you're in a competitive market, any kind of hurdle that you're putting up for your users is gonna stop people. And I bet if they look into their analytics, they'll see a lot of people stop here and don't continue. So what I'm gonna do here is, again, I'm gonna hide my screen and I'm going to just go ahead and fill in this info, and it's sending me a verification code to my phone. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. There we go. And then I'm going to go ahead and click start free trial. All right, let me add this. It's doing some fun things here. So it's loading in. We've got some cool graphics. Let's see. How do you describe your marketing experience? So more questions. It's like, this is quite a drawn out onboarding process. I wonder if it's actually going to help me. And I think I'm gonna do this one. I don't know. I don't really think about it. Create your brand kit. A personalized brand kit captures your voice, style, and visuals. This is cool. I like this personalization. This makes sense. So let's continue and see what that is. Okay, and then it's asking for my website. So hopefully it will be pulling my brand kit directly from my website. So this is a reason to have a website. And it says here, if you're just trying us out to test out the things, put in an example brand or website. And I would recommend for this, if you don't have a website or you're building one or whatever, find a website or brand that aligns with your style, your vibe, something that you already do, someone who's kind of in your lane and also has a look that you really like and enjoy and fits kind of you already, and that you would be like kind of stylizing your brand, aligning with it and all that. So go ahead and do that and hit submit. I highly recommend doing this because why not? And now here it is analyzing my web page. So here it's going to be pulling colors, fonts, searching for a voice, styles, and photos. So that's pretty cool. I love that. As someone who loves branding, it being able to go ahead and pull in my brand colors, fonts, and style and everything. I love that. So hopefully this will help create some marketing materials for me. And it's pulling my photos, which is, yeah, okay, I guess. Yeah, I'm okay with that. A lot of my photos are out there. So the ones that I have posted on my website, that is fine to do. So we're just going to wait for that. It seems to be hung up pulling my photos. Okay, there we go. There it has. Picked my colors. Yes, this color palette is great. I love that. Headline. These fonts are not not fonts I would like to use. So let me find the fonts. It did have trouble doing that. It seems like they have enough fonts here to be able to find it. My headline font is Bodoni version. So here we go. There's a couple of those versions. That would have been great to use. And then the body is sans serif. I believe it's Europa, if I remember right. So we're going to go ahead and find it. Okay. If they have it here. No, they don't have it. So a cabin is another version. Let me just, yeah, okay. Let me go to see if they have cabin. And you don't have to be as meticulous. They do. Okay, so I'll use cabin. And you don't have to be as meticulous as me when it comes to picking fonts. There you go. So go ahead and then it says to review images. So it's pulling images from my timeline blog and all over my website. And, these are not necessarily images I'll be using. So I'm just going to go ahead to review brand voice. All right, audience, tone, emotions. That's interesting. So let's see, we can click add. Okay, we can actually put in our own words to describe, so we don't have to pick from a menu. This is just kind of populating. That's very cool. And yeah, I think this is great. So I'm just going to go with what they have here and save. So your brand kit is ready. What do you want to create first? So we have options here for Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and blog. So not a huge variety of posting options. I'm going to go ahead with Instagram because that's definitely where I struggle the most. So let's continue with Instagram. And here we are turning your website from your brand kit into an Instagram post for you. And it's interesting. I don't know what this image is of this bike ride I did. Oh yeah, it's something I put on my blog post, my blog about bike ride I did, which is not related to any of the other content that I have. So it's kind of interesting. It's pulling for my website for sure, right? It's pulling visuals, and it's also creating a caption. I don't know if it's like really making a cohesive connection to those images and the written content, because I'm a little bit all over the place. And so my website is also very much all over the place. That's interesting. But this is just, it looks like it's just an introduction to my website. It was sustainable web design, interesting niche. And then here I'm able to connect my account. So let's just go ahead and click generate post, see what we get. There we go. It created a post for you using my fonts. It used one color. It didn't use all the colors that I have selected. It's just very much gray, which isn't necessarily my vibe, but I like the layout. It's a beautiful post. It probably would get some interaction. I don't know. And it does have the ability for me to change the photo here. So I can pull from my brand kit. I can pull from stock photos. There's GIFs. They have also a way to generate AI images. This is very interesting. I am impressed. So this might be a great tool for someone who's struggling with creating the post, the physical post itself. And that's not necessarily where my struggle is. It's mostly taking existing content that I have, like my X posts, and I want to push those out onto my other social media platforms. And I do that manually now with select posts, but I'd love to just ramp that up and do that more. So, pulling from my website is great, but I guess I would rather have it pull from my X profile and then create from those posts, multi-purpose versions of those posts. Like that would be my optimal use case for this app. And here we can, there's this little tour of the design tools in here. So it looks like a very powerful design tool for, posting to social media. And you can do a lot of fine tuning, and you can also publish directly to a lot of different platforms here. It's showing Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, X, TikTok, and more. So that's very interesting. And then they have a lot of educational materials, it looks like, too, and do live sessions and stuff. So, this is a pretty interesting tool. I'm also noting a few other things that are interesting to me. It's like I can create and edit in here. So like I don't have to do this in another app. I don't have to go into Canva or on my phone or other apps or whatever to create the post. And then I'm able to publish right from here. And then I'm also seeing this interesting little button here, share for review. So I can share access with people to look at the post and approve it. So this would be, I think, really powerful for managing other accounts for other people. So this might, if you are a social media manager, this might be an interesting app to look into. And, I would consider it depending on what I have to do for clients. If I'm designing the posts as well, they're just providing me with like photos, video, and text content, and then taking that and creating these posts using AI. It's interesting. It could be very easy for me to keep it cohesive, because that can become problematic when using social media tools just to post, is keeping the branding and colors and fonts and everything very cohesive. So I do like that quite a bit. And here I can do a lot of customization on this post. But what I'm afraid of is getting bogged down in it a little bit. So let's see what happens when I go ahead and try and get back to like the home screen or whatever. Okay, so there's home. Okay, so home. That was a really great demo showing what it can do pretty quickly. And so here we have tools, social media, lots of things here. So this to me looks like if you are managing a brand either for yourself or someone else, this could be a very powerful tool. And here are the integrations they have available. So the major players as far as social media, and then if you have a WordPress site, you can also post to that, which is cool. Like if you do blogging, and if you do have a WordPress site, you should be blogging. Why not? And it looks like they have a way to add posts on a calendar. So we have a content calendar. So lots of things to explore in here. For the casual user like me looking to just post to multiple platforms, I don't think this is the app for me, but I will take a close look at this if I have to take on a brand and be a social media manager for a brand or a content creator or someone like that, that I have to do a lot of heavy lifting and do it efficiently and all in one place, which is I'm always a big fan of that. And a lot of the stuff you probably can do in apps like Canva and stuff, but I think where it sets apart is you are able to really customize and writing blogs and using AI to create the content and pull in your brand. So my brand's already in here. It's already ready to rock. I don't have to do much more work than that. And looking at this brand kits, it looks like I can very easily create new brand kits. I can look at the snippets. So this is probably reusable pieces of information. Yeah. And then you can enter into your content wizards. It's very cool. We have a lot of templates in here. Looks great to fit any kind of style. And then I'm sure you can add your brand to these templates so they're more personalized. Connect your social media accounts. Yeah. And then there's a schedule so we can add to calendars. Analytics, once we connect, it'll dig into that for us. And then, of course, approvals. So sending those out to clients so that they can make approvals. So lots of really cool things that are going on in here. I'm going to just take a quick look at the integration so we get a full look at what's available for integrating. So we have, again, WordPress, so you can publish blog posts. I think that's super valuable if you have a WordPress site. I don't. So I would love to see more integrations with websites as far as posting to blogs. Like, so Squarespace would be a great one. I'm sure a lot of people use Wix. Shopify, I would love to see a Shopify integration for blogging. I don't know if I've seen something that is actually effective at doing that. So if that was available, I would highly consider this just for that feature, depending on the cost. And then all this other stuff would be, a bonus. So we can do that. We can go to X, we can go to LinkedIn, Instagram business pages or creator accounts, and then Facebook, a Facebook account or business page, and then TikTok, which is great. And then we have a Zapier connector for more. So you can connect to Zapier, which is great. I love that. And then there's a public API. So we can also integrate with other apps for anyone who's knowledgeable about using API. So that's fantastic. These look like great integrations. Yeah, and it looks here, we have files and projects. So we can add content, create folders. Folder structures are super important for keeping organized. And it looks like in each project that we also have a calendar built in here and can connect different accounts, put them into folders, it looks like. So that's fantastic for organizing, so this is the demo content here. It's great. It's really interesting. And then they have a discount. So we've kind of done a little simple tour. I'm very impressed. I think it's almost too much for what I need at the moment, but I can see where this would be very useful if I took on a brand or a client that needed to do their social media content. So let's look at the pricing. This is where, I want to know what's going on. So this is a discount they currently have for, I guess, trial stage. So while you're still in the trial stage, you can take advantage of this pro plan. So it's an annual pro plan. billed $49 monthly. And if you switch to annual billing, they'll put another discount on top of that for 33% off, equivalent to 3 months free. So that's you're dropping almost $400 for the year. You know, like this stuff is to talk about subscription fatigue. Is this like this annual plans, like that's a lot of money to dump, and then when it renews, like to come up with when those renew, like, you know, hopefully if you are paying for something like this, you have the client base to pay for itself and then also make profit on top of it. For just what I'm doing, I don't think it would be a suitable option at all. The monthly plan, possibly. And I want to look at the breakdown of what's included in the pricing. So I'm going to try and hunt that down. Let's see. Billing, settings. So let's see. Teams. Okay, so I can create more workspaces. Refer and earn. I think that's where I have my referral link. Help center, support. Okay, so let's go to the help center and see if we can find the pricing. Let's see, where is this? Help.blaze. Where is this tab? There it is. Sorry. Okay, we'll get this at stage. There we go. Okay, so let's take a look. Change or cancel your subscription. Settings, billing, manage subscription, and then here, that is where we can see the pricing. So let's go ahead and do that. Switch it back and see what's available to us. I don't trust anything to do with pricing in the help guide, because a lot of these apps, the pricing changes pretty regularly. So I always go into my account and see what pricing they're offering. All right, so we need to go into billing and we go to manage subscription, and here we go. Here's a great breakdown. Now this is billed monthly, right? So for an individual, I'm currently at the pro plan. The trial is the pro plan. And then they do have a smaller plan for $34 a month. Again, this is billed monthly. If you have the wallet to be billed annually, you will save some money over the year. But anytime I'm doing a new app, I always do monthly. I do not do yearly unless I am actively making money with the app and finding it useful and know it will be staying with me for a while. And there's not many apps that I feel that way about. So with the creator plan, so that's one seat, one account per platform, right? So that's very reasonable. And that's the platforms that they showed that were available was Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, and that WordPress site. And there was something else. Yeah. So that's pretty good. They are missing Pinterest, which is very important, I think, to have in your social media planning. If you are paying for social media platform like cross-posting, etc., repurposing content, Pinterest has to be in there. So that is almost a deal breaker for me. It's a very much forgotten social media platform that is incredibly active and very, very important for a website and content creator to be on there. So that is disappointing to me as well. And then also, YouTube, being able to post to YouTube, if you're doing short video content, being able to post to YouTube is fantastic. So those two things are a little bit of a bummer for me. And then you can publish 30 posts per platform per month. So that's a post a day, essentially. And then 100,000 AI words. I don't know if that's really that important. I guess it's nice to have AI built into the app that you can use, but it would be, if you run out, I guess it would be just as easy to go into ChatGPT and use that if you're using that, or whatever AI you're using, Grok, whatever. Plagiarism scans, that's kind of cool. So you could do 3 of those a month. Source materials. So that's, I guess, source material that you can pull from to create content out of. I'm guessing my website is one example of source material, but I'm not sure. Unlimited documents and designs, unlimited guest access. That's great. So you could do not your own account. You could use the creator subscription for someone else. Multi-channel campaigns and unlimited SEO checks. So that's interesting. What do we get when we upgrade to these other plans? You can have 3 accounts per platform. So that's pretty amazing just with that pro plan. So I can be managing 3 different content creator or brands content on these platforms, 3 my own at +2, or just 3 in there, which for me, that's a pretty good price point for that. I'm very impressed with that. And, you know, even though missing the other platforms like Pinterest and YouTube, you know, still, I think that there's some value there for that because that's a really great price point. And then you are given some link and hashtag banks, which can be very helpful because, you know, if you're using a lot of links like I do, that's great to have those just at a click away. Post wizards, which we didn't get into, but I'm guessing that's that process I kind of went into where it used AI to create my post. And then we have priority access and AI processing. So it probably just speeds up the process. And then here we have the teams plans. So these plans for managing multiple accounts are very well priced. They're very reasonably priced. I am impressed with that. And, you know, if that's what you do, this could be a way to save money and then do the manual process for those other 2 platforms that I was talking about. But very interesting to see, and you could look into deciding if this is some route you want to go, if this fits for you. But I don't think the creator plan for me is a good idea, just from what I've seen here. For someone who's managing multiple brands and accounts and platforms for multiple people, not just yourself, I think this could be an interesting app to look into and give it a try for a couple months and see if it is a solution for some of your woes. But you still have to manually post to at least YouTube and Pinterest because they're not in there in the integrations, just from looking at this glancing. So that's my overall opinion of this. Looks very cool, some very interesting features, and I would love to know what you think of this. If you've given it a try, let me know if you've had any experience with this. I'm currently looking for different social media apps to manage my own accounts and then also maybe possibly others in the future. So I'm currently just kind of shopping around and trying different things. So thanks so much for watching this video and sticking to the end. If you want to know more about me, make sure you subscribe and follow me wherever you're watching this. Check out my website, drop me a message, hit me up in the replies, anything you want to talk about. I do a lot of websites. I do a lot of social media. I do a lot of experimentation and trying of new things and apps. And I absolutely love AI and finding ways to incorporate it into my workflow and your workflow that is practical. So follow me everywhere if you're interested in subscriber content. I do have subscriptions on my TikTok, and you can find me at Kate Bly everywhere that you want to find me. So have a great day, and thanks again for watching. Bye.